A day after Vice President Kamala Harris officially conceded defeat to President-elect Donald Trump, the blame game is on. Check out this article from Politico today, which says why Harris lost the election. It was co-written by Chris Cadelago, Politico's California bureau chief. He joins me now live. Chris, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So these election results were a surprise for millions of Americans. What went wrong? Why did Kamala Harris lose?
So the main premise of our piece, and this is based not just on how we feel, but certainly many interviews within the campaign for many months, is the leading issue being Harris's inability to distance herself from the last 4 years and from Joe Biden specifically. And that really impacting on her campaign because you'll recall she is the turn-the-page candidate, at least from her perspective. And so it's very hard to present yourself as the turn-the-page candidate when you're being tied to the sitting president.
Well, and two-thirds of the country feel like America is on the wrong track. And she's asked on The View, which was played over and over and over again, what would you do differently than Joe Biden? And her answer was basically nothing, which is a tough place to be when you're talking about a new way forward. Here's some of what President Biden said today.
Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win.
Everybody's blaming each other. What's really going on? What's the conversation happening behind the scenes right now?
Yeah, so the important thing to remember is that in some of these knife fights that are happening, verbal knife fights that are happening, Kamala Harris is a bit of a bystander in some of those. And part of that is there has been a long brewing rivalry between many of the folks who worked on campaigns and folks who are very close to Joe Biden. And so what you see here is some of that playing out. When you talk to the people who are very close to Kamala Harris, their concern is basically that this stuff does not blow back on her and that her image, that she can maintain her image because they really do feel like after a very disastrous 2019 campaign primary that they feel like she did a good job this time and that she really executed and that she doesn't really deserve this kind of treatment. And yes, there were times where she could have distanced herself. She could have done it on immigration. There are a number of issues where she could have done it. But the Harris folks say she's really loyal. Biden brought her in. Yeah. Biden set her up. Biden endorsed her. She had a lot of Biden people on her staff. And it would not have made sense for her to throw Biden under the bus. And she may have, even if she had, she may have lost, and then she would have had to live with herself having thrown her boss under the bus, and it would not have been worth it.
California Governor Gavin Newsom announcing that he's going to be holding a special session in advance of the Trump administration to set aside money for potential lawsuits there. There's a lot of speculation about what's really going on with him with this. How do you read what he's doing here?
So this is a real opening for Gavin Newsom to lead sort of the California resistance here. And what you're really seeing is Newsom's attempt from the early days to say, we will fight Trump where we have to, but we will work with him where we can. One piece of it that I think is worth mentioning is providing more money for the state DOJ. They are saying last time Attorney General Javier Becerra filed over 100 lawsuits, and they are saying they do need more money. They do need to do that quickly. You will probably also see Newsom going to the Biden administration in these next couple months before Trump takes office and trying to ask for as much money and as many accommodations as he can because he knows he's not going to get those things when Trump takes office.
Chris Cadelago, a lot to follow. Always can check out his work at Politico, and it's important to subscribe to the Politico California Playbook, which I read every day. Chris, thanks so much.
Thank you.